Hello, world, how are you? We have some Q&A to do. I hope you're doing fine, cause it's Q&A time again. Hello, world, how's it going? I hope you guys are all doing well. If not, as always, I hope it gets better for you. So welcome back to another Friday Night Live Q&A. Or you can ask me, your boy LRB, questions on keeping aquarium fish, shrimp, plants, and anything that goes into any freshwater aquariums. And if I don't know the answer, then we've got so many amazing people here in the chat that can help us out too, because let's face it, there's a lot to this hobby, many types of fish, shrimp, plants, all kinds of stuff. It helps to have such a great community like we have here. So glad to see y'all in here. Hello, 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 hello. And whoa, super chat off the bat. I see Candy Overhauls. Thank you once again for the friendly reminder and lucrative reminder to get into live chat. Thank you so much, Candy. I appreciate you and all the work you do for me and really us. But thank you, thank you, thank you, Candy. So yeah, I'm excited. Friday, what a week. Some of you guys can tell I'm coming in just a little late. Dinner ran over a little longer than I expected it to, and I was starving, haven't eaten all day, so. Tyler Smith asks, what is your favorite African cichlid? So with any kind of fish, I can't pick favorites. As far as African cichlids though, I haven't really kept enough of them to really even touch that subject. Just because you need a lot of space for them, and there's so many types of them too. I've seen a lot of these cichlids in these fish clubs of these talks that these guys would give, and these beat any cichlids that you would ever see anywhere. Like ones that I've never even seen in a book or in a magazine or anything like that. So it really depends on what you've seen. But I definitely recommend hitting up a fish club if you are trying to find different types of cichlids that you may have not seen before or can't get elsewhere. So if you're looking for something rare, something unique within any kind of fish genre, species, or whatever, you gotta hit up that local fish club. They'll be able to help you. So hopefully that helps with your inquiry on knowing my favorite, because I have a feeling you're trying to figure out one for yours. That's what and why people usually ask that question. Peterson says Candy is a real MVP, right? Daily Catch says, hey LRB, best way to get rid of brown algae. So diatoms algae happens often in new aquariums. Let me see if I can fix this, because this lighting is like horrible. It's a little better. But diatoms algae, brown algae, can happen in old tanks, new tanks. Usually lack of oxygen will be a big, and that light is terrible, will be a big factor for causing that diatom algae, or just the tank's not cycled enough to where it doesn't have enough beneficial bacteria to help move the stuff along within that system that is also causing that bloom. I did put some pellets in with these shrimp. We can look at these, flip you guys over. Check these things out. It's not the best Black Rose line, but there's some neat shrimp. You can look at these for a while. Chris Trapp, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Throwing it out early. Thank you, Chris. Says Bolivian rams from you had babies and protecting them. Awesome to hear, bro. Congrats on your more Bolivian rams and the babies. That's so cool, especially when they become good parents. You don't have to really mess with much. What kind are you looking for? Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Once again, sorry if I missed your guys' question. Tyler Smith says, I'm pretty new to keeping shrimp because I can't keep them with my cichlids, so how do you breed them? So really, when it comes to breeding shrimp, best way to do it and keep them is in a An aquarium could be multiple of sizes. I like the 10 gallons, 20 gallons, 40 gallons. Depends on how many you really want to house. More tank space, of course, more shrimp you're going to have. But they're really easy to keep. Really easy to keep. As far as like the neocaridinias, they don't really do as well in the softer water. They really do prefer the harder water. And then the caridinia species, they prefer the softer water. And when I talk about softer water, that's under neutral. Usually people keep them around 120, 180 TDS. But as far as keeping them, there's like water quality. You don't have to do a whole lot of water changes. Plants are great. Rock piles are great to keep and create nurseries for them. Just kind of like that. That way they have somewhere to go and have their babies. And for instance, like this moss, they've got a whole metropolis that they can live in within this moss alone. But for most fish, if you're wanting to get a bunch of shrimp, kind of want to keep fish out of the equation, for sure. But they're really pretty easy. A lot of people think they're a lot harder than what they should be, and I think it's usually due to the stock that they get. Just because most stocks are usually from farms, and they get pushed around so much before people get to them. So they come from overseas, they're being shipped and flown from there, then on straight to the supplier, and then they're pretty much shipped and flown from there to you. And they don't usually get a whole lot of break, and then in the farms they can catch and collect all kinds of stuff. These homemade ones, you don't have to worry about that. They're all happy and healthy. This is kind of like a cold tank here of my blue dreams. There's some neat mutations in there. Nice ones up above. But yeah, usually it's just the origin of the line. That guy's pretty wild looking. See, I'll take those guys and I'll put them over here for culls. This is the B team. You see, most of them look pretty good. But then once in a while you'll get that, like this guy, that doesn't belong. Looks cool though. For the most part, not bad for a B team. Whoa, that Cory cat's going crazy. Is that purple? It's like, or is that black? I can't tell. It almost looks like a purple really. Anyways, I get lost looking at those shrimp forever. So let's look at some fish while I yammer at you guys. Chris Pinto, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Throwing down the brotato. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you, brother. Or brotato, I should say. Thank you, thank you. Daily Catch says, I'm having a hard time growing Bacopa. Any tips or tricks? So it really likes to grow up out of the water, so it's constantly stretching itself. Water changes really help with the growth of Bacopa. So more you do water changes, more it oxygenates that water. And as it oxygenates that water, then the plants will actually grab that with its leaves, which will help give it better growth. Also, if you've got too much light on it, be careful. Too much light could be causing it to not grow so well. I've actually got some Bacopa up through here. You can see where it's growing like up and out of the tank. And there's not a whole lot of light on that. You see it does stretch a little bit to where the light's not, but it is kind of trying to curl itself back. Granted, I need to top this tank off. So there's some rainbows in there. And it does love to grow out, so if you can get it up out of the tank and top, it helps grow it in the bottom too a little bit. Because it can get what it needs up through there, which also allows it to grow into there. That mixture of in and out when it comes to plants is actually a really good combo for a lot of plants. When you can grow it in and out of the tank. Or you can just grow algae like this. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions. I do my best. My eyes are tired, so speed reading is harder to do tonight. Dale asks, what size tub do you recommend for tubbing outside? Also, how many shrimp would you put in there to start a good breeding stock? So, of course, the more you have, the deeper your gene pool is going to go. So if you really want to make it deep, I would go to 20 shrimp. 10, 12 is usually the standard recommended, but like I said, the more you have, the deeper it goes. As far as size, I guess it all depends. I would probably go more shallow, more surface area than more deep and less surface area. So hopefully that helps. I mean, granted, you can go from 10 gallons to hundreds of gallons, depending on your setup, your space, and everything else. So I guess it all really depends. But I would definitely go with more shallow and more surface area. Okay, is place sand fish safe? So yes, it can be. Oh no, that's shut off already. Can be, but the thing with it is it's often really dirty, so you do have to clean it out or it will get pretty murky for a real long time. So it's a real pain in the butt. I like to use the Carib Sea sand. They have like this, I believe it's called Tahitian Moon. It's like a whiter sand. You don't have to rinse it, you don't have to clean it. And it's not really expensive either. It's like $5, I think, for a 10 or 20 pound bag. So I think the amount of time you save from rinsing that play sand is worth buying the Carib Sea sand, in my opinion. I don't know how much time you have on your hands. Is there CO2 in that tank? So currently I don't have CO2 running in any tanks. I used to do all the CO2 and stuff way back in the day, and then I realized I don't really need it so much. You know, there's some cool stuff you can do with it, but CO2 also affects your fish. So that's a big reason why I steered away from CO2 as well. Because, yeah, it is like steroids for your plants. It can grow them really well, too, but you got to think about it. You're gassing these fish in abnormal saturations. And it does have an effect on them. And I believe it has a long-term effect on them too. That's why you don't see a lot of big mature fish in a lot of CO2 tanks. The ones you see on YouTube usually have the small, like, look like they just bought them from the fish store fish in them. Chris Pinto, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Chris says, ever try growing land moss in an aquarium? So I have tried that. Once in a while you can get lucky. I'm not a species master as far as like which one's which, and half the time I still have troubles telling what kind of moss is what in my aquarium, just because there's just so many of those mosses. And they can grow different in different lighting situations as well, so that can throw you off too. But I have tried, and you can get lucky. The best thing to do is maybe start with a jar or something. Here, I'll show you guys something like what I was doing with this coral moss. I'm gonna have to get a flashlight. Let me get a flashlight. Because it kind of goes fitting with the situation. I should have a flashlight here. Of course not. I am way not prepared. I think I collected all my flashlights into one spot for some reason. Not sure how that happened. But you guys can still get the idea with this. So what we have here is just like a container. I've just been letting the sun do the work. Like, it's hard to see, it's blurry because of the lighting. But just with a container like that, give it some space. If I was doing this better, this would be twice this size, so it'd have more space availability within a surface area. And if you want to test it out, that's the best way to test it instead of sticking it in your aquarium and letting it muck up your aquarium. How big is this rainbow tank? It is a 125 gallon long. It is a breeding mecca. If I were to just put a species in there, oh my God, they'd breed all over this thing. I can only imagine how many eggs are in there right now. Once in a while I'll get cory cats. When I do my water changes too, the cory cats will actually lay eggs all up on the glass. That's where, well, some of you guys saw the cory cat in here. He actually is one of the babies of these guys. Streetwise, thank you so much for the support and the $5 super chat. Says slow life, slow changes, terrestrial mosses work on wood above the surface. Yeah, it's real cool too. You can make a paste with that and actually paste it onto like the wood above. That's something to think about. And you can do that with aquatic mosses too. Upstairs I've got moss just growing up out of the driftwood, just crawling on it. Same with baby tears. It looks really cool, really natural. And like everything you said, slow life, slow changes, that's nature. Unless it's storming, I guess. Hurricanes happen fast. You guys know what I mean. Levi's Outdoors and Aquatics says, can you show us some of your guppy strains? Thanks. Guppies near me. I do have some platinum fire and ice I just put in here. But they're mixed up with, I think, oh, those are Dalmatian guppy females. Which I got half-beaks in here breeding too. There's a little baby half-beak. There's another little baby half-beak. Oh, there he went. Oh, another one. But let's see, guppies in here. I've got the volcanoes in here. Most of the guppies are in the other room. These are the Arctic blue guppies. These things are nuts. Even the female have colors. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to probably try to eat each other if I try to leave here. It's really close to feeding time, so these guys aren't even on the website. I have a lot of guppies that aren't even on the website. We got some rice fish. Got some snowballs. I ain't had those on the website forever. Panda guppies. I ain't had those on the website forever. Lime greens. I haven't had those on the website forever. These split tails though, people are sleeping on these. These are on the website. These guys are really cool. I love these guys. I actually have these with some rainbow fish as well. Dwarf Neons. The blue stars are pretty sweet. Oops. Especially if you get that light to hit right. And those are super cheap. Since I have so many of those, I've been selling those dirt cheap. Dirt cheap so everybody can have them. Then we got the blue and reds. These guys are pretty sweet too. You get the light on them. Very nice, very nice. Of course, we got shrimp galore. Lots of yellows, lots of yellows. Lots of shrimp everywhere. More of the split tails. These are the albino split tails. It's hard to get that light on there. Oh yeah. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh, excuse my language, but dang, that bites. Oh no. They have a green body on them too. I wanted you guys, oh, here, you can kind of still see the green. Yeah, light's not as warm as it was. Light down. Ah, there goes some cash. That'd cost me. Well, hopefully I won't have green water in there anymore, I guess. Bummer. Ah, it's so good. I don't know why they don't make them waterproof. Well, I do know why they don't make them waterproof. So they'll get that back. But I wish these guys would breed. Okay, I gotta get back to your guys' questions. More split tails. These are the regular split tails. Some randoms. More rainbow fish. Randoms. I got a few, oh my god, look at that guy. So look, I got these Arctic blues mixed with some steak Antlers. What in the world is going on in here? It's looking pretty wily. Hard to really see. But there's fish all over, shrimp all over. And a light down, dang. Should have stayed my butt in the seat. Fluval 3.0 is waterproof. I think that's a 3.0. It didn't seem very waterproof. I tested it. Chris Trapp, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, time to tell us your favorite Home Depot light. Okay, so my favorite Home Depot light costs like 20 bucks, shop light. Bada bing, bada boom. Get the dual things on there. Dual LEDs. I try to get around 6,500K if possible, as far as the lumens. The color temp, I mean. Because if you get into the more yellow color tint, it does not work as well for the plants as the white and the blue kind of spectrum does. And I usually try to keep it around 4,000, 5,000 lumens for deeper tanks such as this. And then around 3,000 lumens for shallower tanks like these tins. But dang! Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, brother. And Priscilla MK, thank you so much for the $10 super chat too. Hashtag light fun. Thank you so much, Priscilla. This is very much appreciated. And I do got to give all you guys shout outs who ordered from me these last couple weeks. Of course, the week before was Thanksgiving, so things did get pushed back a little bit. But you guys have been absolutely awesome with the support. And I have to give you all a big shout out. And to all my members, thank you as well for your support. We put out 104 orders this last week. So I was kind of recovering off that. That took 2 full days just to get all that going with pretty much no sleep. But thank you, Priscilla MK, for the $10 for the light fund. Thank you. Usually what I would do if that happened, but since I'm online with you guys, what I would do right away would try to unplug that. Just kind of like if you got your phone wet and let it dry out before turning it back on. Sometimes you can save yourself with that, with those lights. But since I'm online with you guys, kind of hard to do all that and not make it an absolute wreck for the live stream. And it could have been, even if it is waterproof, it could be the difference between the hot and cold, because when that light does dip into that water, it cools it down real fast. Maybe that caused it to dim a bit. Should be interesting to see if I could bounce it back, but I think that's actually the second time I've done that with one of those lights. I don't know why. And Mike Little, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Sorry I didn't get to that earlier. It says, what's up? You ever get Pandagara for sale? So I don't have Pandagara for sale. I have not got them to breed yet. That's still on the bucket list. I've got some nice ones growing out. But my problem is I keep throwing fish in with other fish that I don't need to be throwing them in with, because I just like too many fish and don't have enough tanks to breed all the ones I'd like to breed in. So now currently their tank has rope fish and rainbows in it. They did have a 125-gallon hide to themselves. Probably not the best way to breed them either. A little deep for breeding them, if you ask me. I would probably prefer to breed them into something like a lowboy or something. Lowboy, really, if you got a space, anything like a lowboy is really, really great for breeding, just because you get all that surface area. Scrolling. I want to make sure I didn't miss any of these super chats, because they're really, really appreciated. Posts away, I have no idea how to pronounce that. It says, what is the most important thing to do for my shrimp? Is to make sure that you have the right water for your shrimp. That is the most important thing. Whether it's soft water for Caridina or hard water for Neocaridina. Granted, you can get away with keeping Caridinas in hard water for a little bit of time, but it is not what they prefer. It's not what they'll breed in. Same thing, vice versa with Neocaridina. Neocaridina actually have a little more flex when it comes to keeping them in the soft water side. Actually, I've had some within this tank here, and they breed out in here, and I know this is soft and acidic within here. But it's so thick right now, you can't really see much in that tank. That tank's actually pretty self-sustaining. I wish I could change the light here so you guys can see it better, but I have hardly done anything to that tank whatsoever. It did have a newt in there, but the newt passed away. Old age, I'm sure, had to been. Because his mate passed away a long time, like right before I made that tank, and they were getting long in the tooth. I wish I could find those again. There were these Danube newts. The guy that I got them from never showed back up at the GCCA, Greater Chicago Cichlid Association swap. And now, well, we ain't doing those that much these days. Last of the Corinthians, 1878 says, what's the ground cover plant in the aquarium, Lucas? So this ground cover plant is actually algae. Good old grass algae. And rainbows love grass algae. They'll sit there and eat that stuff all day long. They'll breed in it all day long. And if I was actually just keeping like a species only of rainbow fish within here, and they were laying eggs in there, the baby and the fries would just have a heyday growing up, eating the little microorganisms that live within that algae too. Limey smidger, what type of noobs? The Danube crested newt, Limey. I'm glad to see you in here, Limey. Can we see those volcano guppies? We did show those earlier. I'll show them again, just in case you want to buy them, because I'm down for selling them. And you know, it's Christmas time. Gotta get them toys for the boy and myself. Oh no, I don't need to do another light. You guys gotta, or I gotta do something better about hanging my lights up before I destroy them all. They're just so fast right now, it's hard to see them. But even the females have color on their, like you see the black tails. Some of them will even get some of that orange on them. See, they're just, hold still, fish. Can you hold still just for a second? Pose for me. No, they don't want to. Yeah, that guy's cool. Oh, I got so much work to do. I need to redo this tank. I need to redo all these tanks. I need to... Some of these tanks, like a lot of these tanks, they've been running forever without like doing anything. Literally years. Of like this tank I ain't touched for like a year. All these tanks, a lot of these tanks I ain't even touched for so long. And they're just kind of self-sustaining. Now, what I'll do if I do a water change, I'll go ahead and get that out, but then everything else will grow right back up. And it just keeps cycling, same old story, so on and so forth. Look, I got a tree coming out of this one. Those are the volcano guppies and then some. Don't move, Lucas. Oh, wait, I just moved. Always moving. Sorry. Keep touching the lights, right? I think I'd learned my lesson the first time, huh? Any more pearlweed? So yes, there is more pearlweed. I saw we were out of stock and sold out. I did just update the website today, like right before I hopped on here, because I knew some of you guys might have been asking me where some stuff is, and it is all up there now. LRBAquatics.com. And thank you, Candy, for posting up the links. As always, you are the best. Scroll. I thought so. I thought I missed some there. What is that? Whoa. Still in ya is still in your... throwing down a $3 super chat. Thank you so much. Still in ya says, let's get them over 200 likes, y'all in the house. Thank you so much, Still in ya. Appreciate the support and the reminder for people to hit that thumbs up, because I am not the best at telling people to do so. Like and subscribe and all that jazz that I as a YouTuber should be asking you. But without you guys, once again, looking out for me, I appreciate it. Golden Nugget Placo Tetris says, any pearlweed available? Also, any CBDs for sale, and how much would they be? So currently not any CBDs for sale right now. But definitely have the pearlweed up there, like I mentioned. Limey Smidger says, Lucas, send me a PM on Facebook. I need to spend money with you. Limey, don't get me on Facebook, bro. I really hate getting into my Facebook, because what happens is when I get into my Facebook and I get into my Facebook Messenger, it's like everybody knows that I'm in my Facebook Messenger, and then I feel like I had to respond to all the bazillion of messages that I have. And then when I do, half of those are online when I do, so then I'm stuck on there for like the next 3 hours answering questions. So that's the biggest problem I have with getting on Facebook Messenger and doing that sort of thing, is just you'll be like, oh, I just hop on here for 10 minutes, but then next thing you know, you've been on there for 3 hours and half of what you needed to do for the whole day isn't done. So yeah, definitely that'll work, Limey, for sure. Because I would love to get some newts. You still got kitty cats? I do got kitty cats. We got kitty cats all over. We got 4 of them now. Old Sparky passed away, unfortunately. For those who didn't know, he got the big C. It was really sad. That happened this summer. Green Ghost says, got any platies you're liking lately? Not any that like pop out of my mind that are like, ooh, have you seen this? There are these red cauliflower like finned ones. So what it is they have like these they're not crinkly, but I don't know how to describe it. Like the leaf of a cauliflower, it's all wavy like, I believe. But their fins are all kind of like wavy like that. So it makes them, it gives them a really neat look. They're just really hard to find and expensive. Blue Ice Aquatics says, when trying to catch a certain trait in shrimp, do you think you get more from the male genes or the female? I would probably say more from the female than the male genes. And the reason why I say that is just, it's easier to tell what's going to come from the females than it is the males, because with the males and their coloring, I think it's got to be a combo of both, though, too. Really, if we're going to look at it, it's got to be a combo of the male and female. So if you're really going for traits, you want the traits from both parties. If you get it from one party and not the other, then you're just halfway doing it. So it's not good to halfway do it if you're really wanting to do it. Even though I halfway do things all the time still. Priscilla MK, thank you so much for becoming a member, Priscilla. I appreciate your support. Very sweet of you. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions. I'm gonna flip you guys over because I just need to chill with this thing. Try to get hold of it, to be honest. What do you think? We'll put it... Yeah, that lighting is just so horrible. Whatever. Sorry you guys gotta look at me for a while. I am pretty though, ain't I? So pretty, oh so pretty. Let's see. Scrolling. I want to make sure I didn't miss any of those super chats, because I know there was some of the $2 ones. And those are hard to see. And Chris Pinto, towards the new light. I think I got that, but if I didn't, thank you, Chris. Yes, I think I did. Okay. All the way back down. And I am at the bottom, so if you got a question, this is where I'm at. Do you feed vegetables to your fish? Paul C. So I personally don't, but you can, and it is good for them. I did have a compost tank that I tried all kinds of stuff, throwing all kinds of vegetables, fruits, banana peels, orange peels. There's literally celery growing in it. Shrimp, fish, baby fish, scuds, they all didn't care. They all enjoyed it. There's a way I could just get that saturation. See how it's changing the lighting there? Sometimes you can just do it with your hand like that. I don't think it's gonna work. What is the best bedroom size tank for a rainbow fish? 4 foot minimum, maybe. With rainbows, it is good to have some depth with them. As you can see, they don't mind the depth. So deeper, longer, and wider is always best, especially with rainbow fish. Rainbow fish really love water volume. More water volume you have, the bigger they can grow, the faster they can grow, the more water changes you do. Rainbows are kind of sensitive to not having water changes as far as in their growth. So I learned this at Ohio Fish Rescue. I got some rainbow fish into his pool, the eggs. And normally, like in a regular aquarium, it would take 6 months to a year to get them that size. Within like 3 or 4 months, he had rainbows about that big, but he had thousands upon thousands of gallons for them to grow out in. So that does mess with certain fish. What kind of rice fish do you have looking for black Mendeca? I haven't seen any black Mendecas, but those would be cool, personally. Have you ever been embarrassed at an event, Kent's Fish? Really, I think embarrassment's all within your ability to take whatever's thrown at you. Of course, there's like, I don't know. I don't know if I would say embarrassed. I don't know. I couldn't think of a situation that was like, oh my. And if it did happen, I would just roll it off, really. Grant Kapovic says, is it safe to use soil from your backyard as substrate for aquarium? So I actually did do that myself with good old Indiana dirt from the backyard. Hey, kitty. And what I did was I dug it out and then I dried it out in the sun. I let the sun dry it out. I actually have a video of what I did, DIY for free dirt. If you want to check out the video, I have a video all about how I used it. We have really iron-rich water, so the nutrients were crazy for my plants. What is your favorite fish channel? I haven't really been watching a whole lot of fish channels lately. To pick a favorite, I don't know. That would be hard. I don't think I could pick one favorite. I'm subscribed to pretty much most all of them, though, these days. But YouTube never hardly ever recommends them to me anymore. They just usually recommend music or news or something, which I don't even hardly watch. I never watch mainstream news. They're always recommending it. Green Grove Aquatics says, what's your preferred shrimp food? Tetracolor Tropical Granules is what I use. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Secret History Living in Your Aquarium says, Lucas doesn't get embarrassed. He grows a beard like a real man. Yeah, it just makes my beard grow longer. That's hilarious. That's funny. Let's see. Junior Grande 123 says, do you have any videos on how to reseal a tank? So no, I actually don't have any videos on how to reseal a tank. Honestly, if one of my 10 gallons goes down, geez, that light. If one of those go down, I mean, $10 is going to save me more in the time to take to do it to reseal that tank. Now, if it was a big tank and I had the time, I may do it, but I've never been through that. Like, I had that 240 that sprung a leak, and it would have just been too much work to deal with. That's a lot of work to reseal a tank. And if you don't do it right, then that would suck. But there are some good videos out there. I think Joey made some good videos, DIY King, on making tanks and doing tanks, but that wasn't a glass tank. I know Dustin Fish Tanks, he used like a piece of glass on his and like sealed around it, the actual problem. So it all depends on why you need to reseal it as well. I don't know. Let's see. Looking for questions, and it does. If you do add a question mark, it's a lot easier for me to tell that it's a question. Levi's Outdoors and Aquatics says, what size aquarium for bows, mono, rainbows? Always the bigger the better. I want to do anything less than a 30-gallon high or a 40-gallon breeder, and then anything bigger than that is better. You guys are funny. Oh man, Pebbling Creek Aquatics says, when Lucas wiped out on Jimmy's one-wheeler, wonder must have been a little embarrassing. I don't know if it was really embarrassing, more than like, wow, can't believe that happened. And I did have some cool wounds to show for it, so. And I was kind of half drunk, so it really didn't make it that bad. And when I say half drunk, I was probably full soon. Dana Quinn Aquatics, thank you, which I don't do often. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, what up, brother? Just in case. Light money. Thank you so much, Ken or Danny. Both Danny and Ken, which Danny just had a recent birthday. Happy birthday, Danny, since I didn't get to tell you last weekend when I was supposed to, and I thought I should have, but I wasn't 100% sure. But thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Kent's Fish says, what do you like breed more, rainbows or guppies? So guppies are easy to breed because, I mean, they're kind of set them and forget them. I should target breed my guppies a lot better than I do, and I do plan on doing that here in the future as far as like grabbing pairs and really doing it more directed as far as the genetics instead of so much of colony breeding. And the rainbows, they just take so long to grow out, so I'd probably have to go with guppies just because of the ease of them. Rainbows can kind of be a labor of love when it comes to breeding out. I wonder if I actually get back if it'll look better with that light. Ugh. Hey kitty, what are you doing? Meow. Sweet, sweet kitty girl. How's the outside waterscape pond doing? It's doing alright. Finally growing some algae in it in the winter, which is good. Means that it's starting to cycle out. There's still some work to do. It's still a work in progress to get it to where we really need it to be and want it to be. So I haven't done a whole lot on it, but I do need to start coming out with the series for you guys on that whole build. And I got to get to these custom aquariums too, which some of you guys, if you guys see the stories on YouTube, usually on mobile, it'll show those. I did throw a little peekapoo of the custom aquarium that I've got some water in now. Because I actually had my big wishbone pond that I had out in the back on the deck. Somehow it's got a hole in it and it's leaking water. So I've got to pull out all that corkscrew out and all that guppy grass and try to bring it in tomorrow. I'm thinking that the heater might have settled, and as it's settled, it may cause like a little hole within the bottom. We'll see when we tear it all apart, but that's going to be a mission for tomorrow for sure. Let's see, I selected my darkest red cherry shrimp to breed, but the offspring have all come out light red. Any ideas why? So be patient, because when the little bitty babies are little bitty babies, they'll be light in color, and they can end up turning into being some of the darkest shrimp you have. So wait till they're about yay big instead of like yay big. Give them a little bit of room. Then you can start seeing more of their color. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, when they're real young, they're real light looking. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions because I see like 4 chats at a time. Is the site updated for the week? It is, Chris. It is updated for the week. Thank you for asking. What about breeding SAEs? I don't even know where to start on that one. I would not even... Anybody ever bred any SAEs? I don't think I've ever seen any information even on that. Golden Nugget Placo says, LRB Aquatics, any small discount on 8 Blue Dreams? Unfortunately, I can't. Like, every day are my low day prices. And with the BDA teams, I don't know how much longer they're going to be in stock before I have to put a cooldown period on them. And the Fire Reds are about to hit a cooldown period too, if things keep up. And when I say a cooldown period, that means that I'll have to stop selling them for a while so their numbers can bounce back up, because numbers are starting to get lower and lower. Since everything's homebred, I don't bring anything in. It's not like, hey, I can go buy 1,000 more to give to you guys. Like, I have to wait for them to breed out. And if I were to start importing them and stuff, I'd start giving you guys a whole bunch of other things that you guys wouldn't want with shrimp. So I'd rather give it the time for them to breed out than having to go down that route. Secret History Living in Your Aquarium says, what is the weirdest thing you have ever converted into a temporary tank? Bathtub, boot, boot, a waterbed, or a light fixture? Interesting. A boot. I think I've always had like some kind of plastic container around to make a temporary aquarium out of. So I usually just get like a plastic tote, nothing like anything real fancy or creative. Not that I can think of. I did make an aquarium out of a Lego one time. That was cool. World's smallest nano aquascape or whatever. It was just a little two-peg Lego. Besides that, I can't really think of anything else. No. Hell, it sounds like you need more tanks, right? Always need more tanks. I would assume SAEs would be similar or larger barbs. Now, I did have, it was one of the weirdest things ever. I had this golden wonder killifish, male, with 2 SAEs, and there's a video. It's actually the very first video I posted on YouTube. This was before I even did YouTube. This was before Facebook. This was back when you had to get on forums like Aquatic Plant Central or PlantedTank.net, Monster Aquaria, or any of those forums back in the day. And I actually used YouTube to link a video to that, and that was one of the videos, and it was the very first one I have on this channel. And it's a golden wonder killifish trying to spawn with 2 SAEs. So they're down in the corner, and you've got the golden wonder killie with the SAEs laying there just waiting to breed. And it was the weirdest thing. And I do got it on footage, so if you guys want to see that weird breeding behavior. I have never seen anything as weird as that combo within this aquarium of all my aquarium keeping, I should say. I've never seen anything that weird. Whoa, lots of questions. Holy moly. I think I got enough questions now for the rest of the night. John Kim says, LRB, which gram negative medication would you recommend? How about API Furin 2? No. I would not recommend any of that, especially that. What I would do with the gram negative medication, now you're trying to attack or fight negative bacteria. You can use positive bacteria to actually fight negative bacteria. That's how I usually handle that. So what I'll do, for instance, in this corner, I've got a power head with a sponge filter on it, and in that, and also other people's filters, is all this beneficial bacteria, the molmy stuff, that good old brown molmy stuff. What I would do is I wouldn't do any water changes and you got that bad bacteria. I would just squeeze that good bacteria into that aquarium, kind of like cycle it around, cycle it through. That beneficial bacteria can actually outweigh that negative bacteria and get you back to where you need to be. Often if you're doing too much water changes, you can leave too much room for that negative bacteria to come in and be more saturated over your good beneficial bacteria. So I hope this makes sense. It's kind of like when you're using like a Clorox bleach or something on your countertop. So you're killing 99% of the bacteria on that countertop. Well, after you kill all that, you still got all this space that the 0.1% can grow on potentially. So everything that doesn't get killed um, has room to roam and grow. And it kind of goes in the same way when you're cleaning your water out. So if you leave all this new space for those negative types of bacteria to grow, with not enough beneficial bacteria to counterbalance, then the yin and yang is off the balance, if you know what I mean. So it's all about balance, keeping a healthy aquarium and not going to one extreme to another. And that can go with bacterias. That Furon 2 will be so much harder on your fish than potentially the negative bacteria. So I hope that helps. I know it's not the standard answer, what you may have been looking for. But I definitely hope that helps. If someone orders from your website, do you offer pickup to save on shipping? Terry's Tropical Fish. Unfortunately, I do not, Terry. It's just too hard for me to manage pickups, and just for safety reasons as well for my family. It's just a lot easier for me to not have to mess with that. Tony Levine, have you ever imported fish before? What's that like? Might move to Thailand. Would be sweet to help fish keepers get cool legal fish from overseas. If I'm right, by Chattahoochee fish wholesalers. Or I haven't heard of that fish wholesaler. I have bought from wholesalers. I haven't directly gotten them shipped from overseas. I have had some like certain pairs of something that I've bought overseas, but not like a whole like import order, like hundreds of fish. So I don't have a whole lot of experience in that. I do think I would do well with the wholesale fish now, though, just because I know how to keep things a lot better, and I know how, how to deal with them when they come in. Because it's all about getting the dirty water out of them and giving them fish baths. Anytime you add, it's a huge mistake lots of people make when it comes to keeping fish, whether they're new in the hobby or old in the hobby. But what they'll do is they'll get their new fish, they'll either float the bag or they'll do whatever, but they tend to add some of the water that they get from that fish into their aquarium. And as soon as you do, that water that you introduce into that aquarium, that's what could be holding your demise. So if you could get rid of all that water and get all your water, your own aquarium water, into that fish before you even put that fish into the aquarium, that could save you a lot of heartache. A lot of heartache. And I'm not a fan of slow acclimations either. Slow acclimations often tend to stress the fish and its immune system a lot faster, which can cause problems as well. So I'm more of a fan of the plop and drop, or just a quick fish bath. That's what I'll do. A quick fish bath and then plop them in, as long as the temperature's right. If there's a noticeable temperature difference, then you don't want to shock them with a temperature difference. But when it comes to new fish, that's what I'll do, is a little fish bath, make sure the temperature's right, and then I'll just plop and drop. Same with shrimp too, because it's really more about the temperature than it is pinpointing this parameter or that parameter. And definitely do not chase pH. For the love of God, don't chase pH. I would rather do TDS. That way you can know if you've got hard or soft water. And if you're at least within the realm of what your fish likes on that TDS scale. And if you don't know what TDS is, total dissolved solids, please learn about it. It can help you so much in the hobby. And it's actually pretty easy to learn too. Like, it may seem a little intimidating just because of abbreviations and maybe some numbers, but when it just A to B and 1 and 2, it'll come together if you think about it that way. New River Troll says, any chance in the near future you might have steak endlers available again? So the reason why I took the steak endlers off is the fact that they don't breed true. So I do have steak endlers, and if you want a pair of steak endlers, you can email Lady LRB at lrbaquatics.orders@gmail.com, and we could probably work something out. But I do have to tell you that they don't breed true, so big reason why they're not on the website. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your questions. Chris Trapp says, do endlers prefer soft water? So endlers and guppies actually prefer harder water because they need that osmosis of the minerals through their body and their skin. Scrolling. I'm gonna head all the way down to the bottom here. We only got about 4 minutes left. Wow, that time flew. Flew. Chris Trapp, LRB to instant cycle. Do you just hose mulm water from established tank to new tank? Yeah, you could do that. So just hose this water in this tank into another tank that's over on the other side. Bam, bada bing. You got a instant cycled aquarium, or you can get that media that's within there, that foam, and squeeze all that brown goodness into there. And then you've got an instant cycled aquarium. So that's what I do when I go to conventions and need to set up an aquarium like on the spot. Is I will season it and cycle it with that. And that stuff actually settles really, really fast. You'd be surprised how fast that stuff will settle. What happened to the Danube crested newt? Asked the guy. So old age, I think, finally just got to him. Like the female ended up going down before I created their tank, because I had them for the longest time in with these endlers and cherry shrimp and whatever. They were getting fat and healthy in there, and they just started getting skinnier. She started getting skinnier. He was still pretty plump doing his thing, and then she passed, and then he went into the new tank, and he lived in there for like a couple months. Then eventually he passed away too. So I never did get them to breed. They were pretty big when I got them, so hard telling how old they really were. At least I like to tell myself it was old age. I mean, it's the only thing I could think that they would have died of, because I didn't really see any like lacerations, any cause of like worms or parasites or like bodily issues within the infections or anything like that. It was just more or less they were alive and then dead the next day and just kind of passed away. Have you ever eaten one of your fish? No, I've never eaten one of my fish. That doesn't even sound appetizing at all. At all. I read that Corey Schwartzite are hard to breed. Do you know anything about that? I think I got my Schwartzite to breed before. Cold water triggers, I believe, will hit them too. Best tips for breeding lots of neo shrimps. Rock piles. Lots of moss, lots of rock piles, lots of food. But not too much food, because you don't want to overdo it on the food. See, that moss just goes all the way back, and then underneath that moss is a bunch of rock piles. So you have lots of spaces, lots of surface area to grow and make more shrimp. So, all right, let's see. I'm trying to read here. How do coolie loach breed? What do they need to do so? Oh, man. I wish I still had my books here. I used to have all my books up here, but there was a book that showed how killifish breed, or coolie loaches breed. I think they do it in like a tube and stuff. I can't remember now. I'd have to get my book. I haven't personally done it. It's upstairs. I can't really answer that. But I do have a book that tells me. And if it wasn't so late, and if my kid and my girl wasn't up there. I believe my kid's in the bath, and I think the book is on that path, and I don't really want to go down that route. Golden Nugget, Pleco, Tetra, can you throw in some red ram's horn snails with an order? How can I request that? I mean, I do got some. Hit up Lady LRB Aquatics or lrbaquatics.orders@gmail.com. We could probably work something out with you. What are those big, beautiful rainbows? So we've got the Dorotii glossolepis. We've got the Goldii decai melanitania. That greener one, this greener one, that's a Dorotii glossolepis as well. That's just the female version. The red ones are the males. This goofy looking one is a Doblei. He's looks like that because he had wasted fish disease a long time ago. And I did manage to pull him through it, so he always just been kind of goofy since. But he's alive and he's happy now. And then these are the Melanitania Van Heerni, I believe. Then we got these goldish ones, which was the thumbnail. That's a Chilnothernia species from the Upper Tor River. This guy is getting long in the tooth, though. Like, some of these rainbows, they're getting in age. I've had them for like 5-6 years. Let's see, what else is in here? Oh, Bowmanis. Those are awesome. The Bowmanis. See how they get that little purple in their belly and the little red stripe? Wish I could get the light on these guys right. They look absolutely amazing. We'll have to feed these guys too before I hop off. Oh, there we go. Get some light on these buttes. Yum, 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 yum. They're like food, 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 food. These guys are huge. Like, I don't know, my hands aren't real small, but they're big fish. It's 125 gallon long. That's a 6-foot tank. Alright, sorry if I missed your guys' questions. I'm gonna throw a little food in here for you guys to watch them eat. And I gotta hop off here and feed the rest of the fish and wind down for my Friday evening, which will be nice and lovely. I can't wait. Maybe I'll eat the rest of my dinner because I couldn't eat it all. Or, well, didn't want to eat it all, get too full before my live stream. Oh, man, all these granules is getting mushed up. They're tiny granules. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum. Well, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. So without your guys' support, I would not be here. And that's why I love you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Yum, yum, yum. Definitely the best part about keeping fish is the feeding time. Absolutely love it. You'd think I'd get tired of feeding fish. As many fish tanks as I feed, I think I'd get tired of it. Well, thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. Alright, I'm going to hop off here. Feed the rest of these guys. Thank you guys once again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, yeah, have a great weekend. Until next time, everybody. Peace. Do 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 do.